Sisters and brothers, in our first reading, Hannah felt the pain of being barren, and she poured her heart to the Lord like never before. Eli the prophet, seeing her, accused her of being drunk so early, but she lost no opportunity to tell him her story. She knew her family was incomplete without a child. She could not carry the shame, embarrassment, and ridicule from the public. And so when Eli heard the story, he assured her that she would have a son next year at the same time. Hannah immediately, out of gratitude and excitement, promised him she would dedicate that child to the Lord. When she had weaned him, Hannah took Samuel, and the name Samuel was given. She says, I asked the Lord for him. She took him up with a 3-year-old bull, an ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and she brought him to the temple of the Lord. Hannah, out of gratitude and thanksgiving to the Lord, said to Eli, I am that same woman who stood here beside you crying and praying to the Lord. And this is the child the Lord has given to me. I make him over to the Lord for the whole of his life. He's made over to the Lord. Sisters and brothers, there are countless lessons to take from that story. Hannah knew her embarrassment, and she knew who to turn to. She spoke from her heart, and she understood that to have a domestic church, her family had to be completed. She was desperate to remove that shame and turn to the Lord in tears, unashamed of who was there, crying to the Lord. And in turn, she was generous and gave back to the Lord what he had given to her. What a powerful witness of family and parenting. Sisters and brothers, the fact is, families today are in need of that kind of approach. Turning to God in desperation to intervene and penetrate families in our society. Families are suffering. The devil has done such a great job, because by destroying the family, you destroy society. Amen? Amen. By attacking the family, society is destabilized. And oftentimes, we are not even aware, because there are so many broken marriages, so many separations, so many family disputes, so many family feuds. But Pope Francis reminds us that families cannot be helped but be places of support, guidance, and direction. He says parents need to consider what they want their children to be exposed to. Amen? He warns that parents rely on school to ensure the basic instruction of their children, but can never completely delegate the moral formation of their children to others. That's the job of parents. The Pope affirms that the family is the first school of human values, where we learn the wise use of wisdom. It is the primary setting for socialization, since it is where we first learn to relate to others, to listen and share, to be patient, and show respect, to help one another and live as one. The Pope reminds us further that raising children calls for an orderly process of handing on the faith. Therefore, the family is an agent of pastoral activity through its explicit proclamation of the gospel and its legacy of varied forms of witnesses. We see that in Hannah. Generally speaking, Catholics tend to think of marriage and family as distractions from leading a holy life amid the busyness of our daily life. Many families support that the parish is the only place they can encounter Christ, and the community is the primary sphere of service. But brothers and sisters, we're making a mistake. God has a different vision for the family. In God's plan, the home is intended to be a place where families meet the Lord in the day-to-day life of that family. Families are meant to bear witness to His love to each other and to the world. Family life is an actual ministry of the church, according to Dr. Greg and Lisa Potter. And I want to emphasize that because, you know, as a church, we have youth ministry, we have men's ministry, we have all kinds of ministry, but we pay very little attention that we lead family ministry. Because while we witness to the youth, the family is left out. When we witness to the family, we witness to everyone within that family. And that impact is more telling. Sisters and brothers, the church is the place where individuals enter into relationship with God and become holy. So too, the family as domestic church is a locus of encounter with God and a school of holiness. If the nature and structures of the family reflect those of the church, so also the practices and actions of the family reflect the practices and actions of the church. As God has given the church fixed liturgical action to help Christians become what they are called to be, so too He has given families their own liturgy to help them become domestic churches and to participate in His saving work. We call this the liturgy of domestic church life. Through the celebration of the liturgy of the domestic church life, families experience the grace that they receive in the sacraments at work in their homes. As they learn to use the everyday things they already do as family to incorporate this sacramental grace into their family life, they are transformed into domestic churches that reflect and reveal the Christian vision of love. That must take place within the family. Like the liturgy of the Eucharist, the family of domestic church life consists of rites or parts. And these rites are the rite of Christian relationship, the rite of family rituals, and the rite of reaching out. Now, to understand all of that, under every rite, there are 4 practices. So the way the family integrate, mingle, and do things together, the first rite, families must schedule time for families. Scheduled family time is first. How often we have to do things at home, we leave it and we go and attend to something else. 2, families must exhibit extravagant affections and affirmation. Do we affirm each other at home? To what extent we show affection to our siblings or to our parents, or parents to siblings. We are so busy attending to everything else but our family. Exhibit prompt, and that's another practice, generous, cheerful, and consistent attention to each other. And the third one deals with discipline. The third practice speaks of discipleship, discipline. The second rite, the rite of family rituals. The first one, family work rituals. You know, I often say to the people in my parish, there was a time within the family, every child had its assignment to do at home. Amen? Yes. How many of you remember having to sweep the yard, to attend to the animals, to go there, to do this? But everybody had the assignment. Yes. Amen? Yes. Is that real today? No. The child is left to do what they want. They are busy on the devices. They are watching TV. They are playing their games. And the cups and the plates are left in the sink. And sadly, some parents would go back and do the very thing that the children need to do. That's a major issue that affects not only family, but society and the church. So we are literally raising lazy children, and they don't want to do nothing but what they would like and what they feel they should do. So under that ritual, we speak of family work ritual. We have to go back to those old days. Family play rituals. How often do you play together as a family? You play together. Now, if you cannot play as a family, my brothers and sisters, you think you have time to play with people outside of your family? The third one, family talk rituals. Do we discuss family issues together? The parents allow children an opportunity to share their pain and their anguish about things they don't like. Are children allowed to express what their likes and their dislikes? No. And that's why it is so common today. You ask a person how do they feel, and they tell you everything they do, but they cannot tell you what they feel. And the last one is family prayer rituals. Do we have any family prayers? Have we forgotten that when night comes, we all have to come around the bed to pray all the night prayers? Where has that been? Where has that gone? Now, if you don't have a prayer experience as a family, the church can do whatever it is that he wants to do. But you see where our problem lies, church? And all of that affects catechetics. We see less and less children wanting to make the first communion. We see less and less children wanting to be confirmed. Because those who are parent now, they don't go to church. And I often say, the one way we can be assured that these kids make the first communion and confirmation is if there is still a grandparent who enforces it must be done. Is that true? That's our challenge. And the third ritual is rite of reaching out. Serving each other generously at home. That's the first one under that third rite. Serving each other generously at home. If children grow up in an environment where they serve each other generously at home, when the mother dies and the will is made, there is no need to fight for what is left behind. And the second, thinking of others while being a family at home. Do you think constantly of the members of the family? And being godly families in the world and domestic churches serving together. That's the fourth one. Domestic churches serving together. If the family is one, they will serve together as family. Brothers and sisters, we have to look at ourselves and our families. And we see in the experience of Hannah that she gave everything to that child. But in a kindness, in a generosity, she was willing to give back that child to God. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2:5, we are told about the Holy Family, a true model of true Christian family. We read from verses 51. Jesus grew up, he went down with them and came to Nazareth and lived under the authority. Where did he live? Under the authority. So that in the domestic church there is a head. Not so? And that head does not only exist within the nucleus family, but also in common law, in single parent, divorce, widower, whatever the type of the family, there is a head. The authority is significant and important. Church, Jesus understood that. And his mother Mary stored up all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom, in stature, and in favor with God and his people. My prayer, and I think the prayer of the Family Life Commission and the various Family Life units, is that we can bring families in Dominica to become dynamic domestic churches. Amen.